Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, or whatever time zone you're in. My name is Lyriander, and welcome back to the Daedric Podcast. I am once again joined by my host, Tom.
Hello, how's it going, guys?
Hello, and today, as you can read from the title, we will be talking about the Fighters Guild, the Vampires and the Werewolves. Now, let me actually go right into. Hang on, I've just realized some mistake that we have made already. I don't have your recording, Tom. So if you could share screen and then play.
Yeah.
We're off to a great start. Hold on.
Yeah.
This-
So, as we said, today is gonna be focused around the good old vampires, werewolves, and other.
Yes. Well, we're gonna start
stuff.
with the Fighters Guild and the companions.
Yeah. Because as we all know, the Fighters Guild is one of the many guilds you can join in the Elder Scrolls games, be it Oblivion, Skyrim,
Oh boy,
or
hold on.
I don't know if it's in Morrowind though.
The Fighters Guild. Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
Jesus, you were way too fast with your fucking. Why is it already playing? It wasn't even visible yet.
Sorry. There's nothing much happening in there. I'm just making some funny spells in the Oblivion spellcrafting, combining effects to create world-destroying spells.
All right. Well, whatever. Yeah, I need to like resize everything to not give people headaches.
Yeah, it looks it looks nice.
It's fine.
It's okay.
All right. Yes. So, where were we? The Fighters Guild. Yes, you were saying something. Because the Fighters Guild, as most of you more likely know, is it's a guild for fighters. It's pretty obvious, and it's present actually across most of Tamriel, and in every province you can basically find at least one or a lot of guild halls, and they were they were having what do you call it? It's a common and more importantly public place of training, study, and employment of those with martial powers.
Yep.
It was originally established in the Second Era in the year 320 by Versidue Shaye, who is the head of the Akaviri Potentate after the Second Empire.
He was actually not a man. He was something called a Sayesi, from the mysterious land of Akavir, a vampire snake person.
Well, it's we don't have any images of him, so that's the
him not. Of him not. Yes.
Not of him. So originally they were like the Fighters Guild. They were they were called the Iron or the Sifim, which means soldiers in Sayasi. They were provided to create public order without having to resort to the standing armies. And although it began as an Akaviri only organization, eventually other races could join as well. That's the beginning of it. Like after that, they started to as more races joined, they started to slowly develop into becoming like the place to go to develop your martial skills and to help the people, I guess.
Yeah.
Without being
also Morrowind had a different version of the Fighters Guild called the Kamona Tong.
Ah, yes. Which
and if you remember when we had a podcast about the Dark Brotherhood, they had their own Assassin's Guild called the Morak Tong, and this one is the Fighters Guild called the Kamona Tong, and you can obviously see the same part of the word.
Yeah.
What the fuck does tongue mean?
Yeah, good question. I don't know. It's kind of interesting that the Dunmer really wanted to have their own thing.
Yeah, but the thing is that the Kamonatong was actually a criminal syndicate. It wasn't like a fighters guild. They were
Bad
kind of like
guys.
the mafia.
Wow. Let me see. So, during the plane melt in the Second Era, also known as the event of Elder Scrolls Online, they actually played a very big role, because they were contracted to destroy the Dark Anchor sent to Tamriel by Morlock Ball. And in fact, the Guildmaster at the time had ties with the Daedric Prince Meridia.
Do you mean Sees All Colors or Merrick?
I think it was Merrick. Let me double check.
Sees All Colors, Meridia, Colored Rooms, you know?
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, no wait. Merrick is a follower of Stendar, so that doesn't seem to make sense.
So Sees All Colors, the Argonian chick.
Chick, wow. The Argonian. Yes.
Argonian lizard girl.
Just the Argonian will do. No need for the name calling. Let's see. Yeah, no, they don't specify in this part of the article. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, and a funny thing with the Argonian, her name is Sees All Colors. If you played the games, you obviously know that a lot of the Argonians have these funny little names like Sees All Colors and Eyes Behind the Head and stuff like that.
The ones in Shivering Owl are even funnier. There's one that's called Runs in Circles. 3 guesses what she does.
and obviously, like the thing that comes to mind, maybe it doesn't, is if you remember the Native Americans, they also have like the sitting bull and the flying eagle and spreading seed or something like that.
They have like a very like descriptive names of what they did.
They have descriptive names, and because these names are translated in the native Argonian tongue, their names would actually sound cool.
Yeah. There are some Argonians that still have their Saxilil name.
Yeah, exactly. There's a big distinction on when you find Argonians, like they either have the stupid name in common tongue or they have the cool name in Argonian.
Yep. Unlike the Khajiit, who have like, you know, specifically in their language the way they construct their names.
Khajiit never translate because I don't think their names have a meaning.
No, it does have a meaning. It's kind of like the dragon language, where different parts of the name is an indicator of, for instance, the J in front of a name, so Jezargo. The J means young.
Yeah.
And M, the M in the front means like old, something like that. And they have like different, basically titles in their name.
Oh,
that's interesting. And they use words from their own language as well within those names. So yeah, they do actually have some logic to it. It's just if you don't speak the Khajiiti tongue, it becomes a bit difficult.
Yeah, I think they are the only ones who have different languages. The Khajiits and the Argonians.
No, actually, the other ones do have it as well. It's just never expanded upon in the games. Like
elves obviously do. You have the they even call themselves the Altmer, Dunmer, Bosmer, and
I think Cyrodiilic was a language at some point, but I think it's been
Cyrodiilic is the main thing we all speak.
No.
Yeah.
The common tongue is the Altmer tongue.
Altmer?
Yeah, the Altmer language. That's why they're so arrogant, because you know they're the original. Like everyone's using their language.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure. I researched the Altmer for the previous video. That's why I know.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's why they're so like, you know, like, oh, we're better than everyone else because everyone's speaking our language. Like the Empire has stolen a lot of our customs, you know, our sciences.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get back on the Fighters Guild. Let's see. Yeah, they're actually, I say that, but there's not a lot to be said about the guild because they're very like self-explanatory. They get hired to do menial tasks such as fight the monsters here, take care of the problem there. As you can see in your current Tom's current playthrough in Oblivion, he's doing Fighters Guild quests.
Yeah, the main thing the Fighters Guild does is busy work. Retrieving ghost things and fighting off bandits that have taken residence in caves nearby not residents. Yeah.
Yeah, I like. There's some quests that I really love, especially rat problem. Like, just like the dialogue alone is already brilliant. Like, I'm here for your rat problem. Yes, rats in my basement, and something's been killing them. Oh, my poor babies.
Yeah, my rat problem. And there's a fucking mountain lion hunting there. She actually raises these rats.
Yeah.
And then you discover that her neighbor, lady, I can only describe her as a Karen, is like, that crazy bitch over there is raising rats. It's disgusting. It's not hygienic. So I've been placing raw meat near her fucking cellar to attract mountain lions in the middle of the city.
Yeah, it's not exactly the most brilliant plan. It truly is like a Karen move when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but like they have these random quests like that. But they are often faced with like some kind of rivalry with other guilds. As you mentioned, in Morrowind they face the what is it called again? The Comanaton. Yes. And in Cyrodiil, in the third era at least, they face the Blackwood Company, which is also mercenaries.
With a dark secret.
Yes. Well, we're not gonna spoil the secret.
Not with a dark secret, with a green secret.
Yeah, green secret. Yeah, basically. So yeah, and then in Skyrim, they had to compete with the companions, which is a nice segue to the next part, the companions. So you see, the companions, they originate from the original 500 companions of Ysgramor that he brought back in the Return after the Night of Tears. And where they devastated all the elves in Skyrim. And some of them, like a small group, under the leadership of Captain... Let me see his name. Where is his name? Too many documents open. Oh yeah, under the leadership of the Captain Yeek of the River, who was the leader of the captain of the ship Jorvaskr. He was a childhood friend of Ysgramor, and he set out with his crew to discover, discover what there is to see in the land of the wilderness of Skyrim, and they found the Skyforge, which is like the big forge.
The important thing about Skyforge is that when they discovered it, there was no settlement nearby, and the forge was lit, and there was this huge eagle monument standing above it, and they were like, "Oh shit, this is fucking primordial. This is before the elves. Elves did not build this. This has to like siphon magical energy from Nirn itself."
Yes, and it's also special because apparently all the elves seem to avoid it, and their way of thinking, like the Atmora, because that was what they were like. They's like, oh, the elves avoid it, therefore it must be good for us.
Yeah, because the Atmorans themselves hated the elves.
Yeah, after the Night of Tears. Yes, especially.
Yeah, after the Night of Tears, which might as well explain it. When what's his name?
Ysgramor?
Ysgramor, yeah, the name just slipped out of my mind. Ysgramor, the mighty warrior, daddy of all Nords, came from Atmora, they settled in the very first settlement in the north of Skyrim called Sarfal.
Yes.
And they made a treaty with the locals, the
Elves, the
Falmen,
snow
the
elves.
snow elves. And during the Night of Tears, which is
Took
an
some.
event.
Yeah, it took
Yeah.
place some years after the establishment of the city.
Yes.
It is not 100% sure what happened, but it is basically implied that the Nords found something in the depths of the ground under Sarthal, and once the elves discovered what kind of powerful artifact they found, they covered it for themselves.
They basically genocided the whole place.
Yes. The
And
Nords wanted
of,
to not use it because it was too powerful, but then the elves
Yeah.
were like, "No, we want it," and they killed all the Nords there. The Isgramor was one of the survivors, and he fled back to Admora, where he gathered the 500 companions and went back.
Because of the Night of Tears, it is said that he cried tears of pure ebony, and from the tears his skin forged the axe Wulfrat.
Yeah,
and the Wulfrat is the legendary axe of Isgramor that, fun fact, deals bonus damage to all elves.
Yeah, because how many elves he killed with it.
Yeah, he killed. Spoiler alert: he killed a lot of elves.
Yes, well, he was very powerful. So yeah. So anyway, going back to the companions, they basically they are a group of sort of. They are similar to the
Fighters Guild.
Yeah, they're similar to the Fighters Guild, except the companions focus more on honor. They are there to help people develop their honor, or they fight for honor and they want to prove themselves.
Yeah, they're Nords, so
yeah, basically
expected from them, like
yeah.
the art of battle and like the honor about actual war is the thing that drives them forward. All they want to do is die honorably in a war to
exactly.
get to Sovngarde. So
yes, and for a long time, the leaders of the companion, called the Harbinger, they had to be of Edmoran descent, and it wasn't until, let's see, when was that? They don't specify when exactly, but at some point, the Red Guard, Sirik the Lofty, became the first Harbinger not of Edmoran descent, because he had proved himself to be so honorable that he was considered to be born with the heart of a Nord. And his reign was very brief, but he did install some good teachings in regards to martial prowess, yes.
Martial powers and racial tolerance.
Yeah, yeah, that too. In fact, like generations later, they actually had an elf as a harbinger. Now that's a big thing. It's an elf
for Nords to actually accept
an elf, yeah.
An elf to a guild that has been for centuries ruled over
humans
by not only like humans, but like Atmoran humans.
Exactly.
Like our ancestors only.
Yeah, his story is kind of cool to read. It's only very briefly described, but he was basically forced to do mundane services, like clean the hall and like do this and do that. He was basically forced to do all that sort of thing, but because he's an elf, he lived way longer and he outlasted all others that were better than him, to the point where all the members of the guild, even the harbinger at the time, were all members that joined after the elf was already there. So when that harbinger came to an end, they were like, yeah, this guy actually has proven himself. And that's how they had the first elven harbinger. Yeah. Didn't happen very often.
For how long was he there? But
yeah, it's not very well documented, unfortunately.
Yep. He was not
They
the only fascinating
yeah.
harbinger. There was a woman harbinger
Yes.
called, what's her name?
Mac of the Piercing Eyes.
Yeah, Mac of the Piercing Eye, who was said to be the most beautiful woman in all of Skyrim.
Yet
And many people underestimated her, and if they actually acted on these underestimated, they
Yes.
would find a swift way to their graves.
In fact, she was also stated to have a gaze that petrified an entire army,
Yeah,
and
that
she killed the rest with her blades.
Yeah, she petrified a half of the army with her fucking look, and then single-handedly slaughtered the rest.
Yeah, she's quite powerful, and then unfortunately she disappeared at the end of the or the beginning of the second era.
Yeah,
and that was a
straight up after 8 years, she just poofed out of existence, and nobody knows where she went.
Yes, maybe one day we'll hear more about that. But after she disappeared, a dark time among the companions began, as all the
Again.
leaders at the time were, incompetent, dishonorable people, which is opposite of what the companions
Yes,
should be.
they are not even stated to be. Their names are not even.
No, they're not even recorded.
Stated in the. Yeah, they're not even recorded.
And
After these, during this dark time, a man called Kirnil Longnose
yes,
gathered the most truest Nords and in the wilds, and he invaded Jorvaskr, killing all the I would say usurpers of the
dishonorable bastards.
the dishonorable bastards, the lazy Nord wannabes, and he became a new harbinger. And during this time, he founded something called the Circle.
Yes.
Isgramor himself had his circle called the Circle of Captains, and it was his most. It was filled with his most trustworthy men, and so Kirnil did this with the companions, and the most elite companions of the circle served as examples and symbols of what are they supposed to be to all the other members.
How to be truly honorable. Honor through blood is
honor through blood is the slogan for companions.
Yes, that was instilled by Colonel Longnose specifically. Well, no, actually, it was the old ways already. Sorry, my bad. Yes. Let's see. Then came another bad time. For the a little thing that happened with the companions, but we'll get to that near the end of the video. First, let's move on to the vampires.
Yeah. So, vampires. Everybody knows what a vampire is, right?
Yes,
It's
probably.
the in the night, in the shadow, sucking blood, turning into bats or mists, and not being able to see in mirrors. Kind of this is not the glitter in the sunlight type. This is the turn into a giant bat monster and
wow.
being raped by a god type of. Yeah. So
one step at a time.
vampires or one step at a time. So vampires are generally classified as accursed undead. They are in fact undead. They are corpses, but with a powerful blessing or a curse in them. And this blessing originally comes from the Daedric prince called Molag Bal. Molag Bal himself, when he blesses a mortal, he creates a strand of vampirism. And these firstborns, or first infected, are called pure bloods. And each pure blood has their own strand or spread of vampirism, and they have a disease in them that they then spread forth. It depends on either on the game or the region where you are in, but there are diseases like polyphig hemophilia, sanguinare vampirism, and noxipheric sanguinora, to name the most known one. And the very first vampire actually was a woman. Her name was Lamae Beofag, also known as Lamae Baal. She was a Need. Need are the people before Nords and Imperials.
Yeah, like one of the descendants of the one of the first kinds of humans in Tamriel.
Yes, and she was a priestess of Arche. Arche is the god Aedra, the god of life and death, the god of circles, and the god of peace, being dead peace in a peaceful way. And during this time, this happened in the first era, when this is happened before the first era, when Nirn was in its very baby phase, and Molag Bal was very powerful then, and he decided to descend onto Nirn, and he brutally raped Lamae Bal. Like, she was left mangled, bloodied, and Molag Bal dropped a single drop of his blood onto her, and she was left unconscious, completely like mangled. She was then found by a group of nomads who took care of her. They tried to patch her up, but as they were patching her up, they noticed that she was self-healing, like regenerative. She had regenerative powers. They were freaked out by this, and decided to burn her alive. And as they set fire to her body, she came to her senses and massacred them. Absolutely decimated all of the nomads and drained them all of their blood. She was unaware of what she was doing, but when she came to her senses, she was absolutely crushed by what happened to her and what Molag Bal turned her into. She tried to pray to Arche to save her, but Arche did not respond. So she swore vengeance to Arche and Molag Bal. And she is later known as Madre Lamae, the very first vampire, the grandmother of vampires.
Big old mama.
Big old vampire mama, yeah. And she has her strand of vampirism is called Noxiphilic Sanguinora.
It's a mouthful. Yeah. All these Latin-like names. No? Oh boy, is internet not working anymore? Tom? Hello? You've gotten awfully quiet, okay. Well, let's see if I can continue with the vampires. I can hear you fiddling with the mic, but that's it. If you look at my playthrough currently, hold on, let me turn off that. Okay, I'm using a Vampire Lord setup, which is, or like I'm using my Vampire Lord powers, which is something that comes with like specific strands of vampirism, or I should say the vampires that are closer to the original source of vampirism, they have this ability to transform one way or another. The current one that I have in Skyrim is of the Volikar clan, and but there's also there's other strands like the Grey Host strand, which you can find in Elder Scrolls Online. And these powers are granted by Molag Bal to assume this monstrous form, to walk as a lion among the sheep of men,
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Molag Bal doesn't only do the vampire lore. Depending on as we said, depending on the strait, Molag Bal gives special powers, unique powers to each and every pureblood.
Mm-hmm.
The Volikar clan has the ability to phase through ice and to freeze enemies with their breath, transform into the vampire lords,
Yes.
bat-like abominations with the ability to fly, summon gargoyles, and fling enemies through air. And
though that's the vampire lord, like I said earlier, is only accessible to those that are close enough to the original strand. If you basically in the Volakir clan, the original strand owners are the original family, so that's Lord Harkon, Serana, and another one.
What's her name? Her mother.
Yeah, the mother.
The mother.
Yeah.
Fun fact: vampires are usually when they're fat, you wouldn't distinguish them from a normal human being.
Mm-hmm.
They may be slightly paler, but or maybe have more pronounced teeth. But when a vampire is starved from blood, their eyes turn bright red.
Yes, and they become very noticeable.
Yeah. Do you remember Serana's eyes?
They're quite red, yes.
They're bloodshot red, and they have the little spider webs in them. Serana is starved as fuck. She didn't feed.
Yeah, for way too long. Makes sense.
Harkon's eyes are actually yellow.
Yep. Indeed. Yeah, it makes sense. She was locked in that tomb for centuries. We did calculate before.
Yeah.
For how long?
What was it?
It was somewhere. Oh God, I don't remember exactly. It was somewhere in the.
In what era?
Somewhere in the somewhere between the first and the dawn and the Merithic era, I think. It was after the establishment of men. I think it was a few hundred years before the first era started.
Mm-hmm.
That was the estimate. Because yeah, she had encountered Dwemer and Falmer before they had gone and disappeared. So that's the first era 700. But she also it'd have to be after the year 800 of the Merithic era, but before the first era, year 700. So that's 1500 years basically of time that you have.
Yeah, the thing is that the only thing that they say is that long ago Harkon ruled over a large part of Skyrim. There's never any set time when they actually build this.
Hi, by the way, Zemiak. Dark elves, they do have red eyes, but they are not a vampire race. It's technically they have different kinds of red eyes. Whereas the dark elves have completely red, their irises and their eye white, whereas vampires tend to have more their irises only. Like the color of their iris becomes red, whereas dark elves are just completely red, and that's caused by, of course, Azura.
But fun fact with the mention of the Dunmers, the Dunmer themselves, like their society, they shun necromancy extremely because of their burial rituals. Necromancy is something they consider absolutely unnatural, and it's unheard of to practice necromancy in Morrowind. They even believe that because of the tribunal, the public knowledge of vampires, they thought that because of the tribunal, vampirism is something they got completely rid of, which is obviously not true. We have the Quara, Berne, and Andae clans, which yeah, and even more interesting are the Ash vampires created by Dagoth Ur.
Of course.
The Ash vampires, who are actually not vampires, but they are vampire.
Yeah, it's hard to. If you want a more concrete example, you have the Blood Scions, which we mentioned the Vampire Lord, and you could see them in my stream. You'll see them a bit later as well, where there's a transformation that you can go through, and the strand of the what's it called again? The Noxophilic Swangurevia, whatever, the strand of the original vampire. That one can go through a transformation as well, which is different from the Vampire Lord. The Blood Scion is also becomes kind of a brooding Hulk, but they have, I don't know, a more Morlock Ball looking appearance.
Yep, and even more to that, in under Skyrim is the giant.
Oh boy, the connection has gone bad again, for some reason. Hello? You're like the even the playthrough is not working anymore. Oh, connection is really shitty. I don't think it's actually coming from my side this time. Whoa. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay, hold on. I'll pause that view. Under Skyrim, what was he talking about? What was he talking about? Oh, now it's suddenly my fault again. Hello, Tom.
Good day, friend. Keeping well?
Nope, still seems like shit. Alright, let's see. There are... hello? Can you hear me? I heard a sigh and that's it. Perfectly timed reconnecting. Yeah, so I can't really talk to Tom has all the parts about the vampire, so we'll have to wait for him to come back. In the meantime, if you've been paying attention to my play in Skyrim, I have been trying to do some quests on Solstheim. Yeah, whoa, this is not very well prepared for this event. Let me just go to my section, the Lycanthropy. So we've mentioned it before, like the Lycanthropes being like a supernatural condition that causes a person to transform into some kind of werebeast. Based on the name, originally it was only used for the werewolves. But it's also used for all the different kinds of werebeasts that exist. The list of which is, let me check. Okay, so you have the werebats. Werebats are of course half bat. They mostly occur in Valenwood, though they have shown up in some parts of Skyrim, especially the Grey Host, who are let's see. Hold on, the Grey Host. Now I need to double check where they live. Where do they live? Okay, well they don't specify. Oh well. Well, werebats are just half bat basically. They do show up in Elder Scrolls Online. Then we have the werebears, who occur in who show up in Skyrim, Northern Cyrodiil, High Rock, Northern Morrowind, and on Solstheim. We do see them in Skyrim. I think they also show up in Daggerfall. Don't show up in Oblivion, but they're half bear. Then you have the wereboars, obviously half boar. They show up in Hammerfall and High Rock, and you will see them in Daggerfall. Then we have the were-crocodile, which we only have stories of where they live in Blackmarsh and southern Morrowind. I don't think we have seen them in game yet.
What the fuck happened?
Oh, hi, hello, welcome back. I don't know. Some connection has been going bad.
Oh no.
Hard to see which one. Let me see if it's my part. Hold on. I'll try to connect to a different network. Yeah.
Am I still?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're here.
Not streaming
Not
anymore.
streaming anymore. No.
Me.
Yeah. So the were crocodiles are in Blackmarsh. The were lions. You can find it elsewhere, Blackmarsh and Cyrodiil. Let me turn view on again. Yep, there we go. The were sharks. They're kind of unknown where they occur. Obviously, the water near water will be most likely. But there's the they're only talked about in legends. No one's like I don't think there's a lot of documented individuals for that. Then we have the were vultures in Valenwood. And finally, of course, the werewolves, which can be found everywhere. Can be found everywhere.
Yeah.
Did you still want to say something about the vampires?
Where did we cut off? That's the question.
You were saying something that there's something south of Skyrim, and that's the last you said.
No, under Skyrim.
Under
Yeah.
Skyrim.
So we were talking about the strains of the vampires.
Yes.
Under Skyrim is the giant the giant cave called
Blackreach.
the Blackreach. Yes. And in Blackreach, during the Second Era, a vampire queen took residence. Her name was Lady Esenia. And with the help of alchemy, of all things, she created her own strand of vampirism. And she basically made this concoction with the primordial soup of Oblivion, and then she injected it into already like infected vampires, people who were already had vampirism, and they turned into blood knights. Normally, for you to become a blood knight, you need to be a vampire who sucks vampires.
Boy.
So if you're a vampire and you defeat and suck out the life force of a lot of vampires, you basically draw their strength and become this very primal, very bestial form, very similar looking to the vampire lords, but with one key distinction. Blood Knights are somewhat more, I would say, werewolf looking. They are the hulks, the hulking brutes of the vampire, special vampire forms. And they are stronger, faster, and they have insatiated blood of hunger for blood, and they have anger issues.
Well, most of these do. It seems.
Yes. And so this lady Esenia developed a serum with which help you would just inject this to a vampire and they would become a blood knight. They would not need to sacrifice other vampires to make this blood knight.
Neat.
And she made an army of those hulking, angry dudes.
Indeed. I think that's a nice segue to back to the lycanthropes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, you see, so like I said before, it's like an unnatural condition that they have, where it's kind of like vampirism in that there are different strands. It's just like the different strands have different effects, but mostly on how the individual is affected by the transformation. You see, some strands make it that you transform only on the nights of the full moon. Others make you transform every single night. And then there's the strand that we have in Skyrim, which gives you a lot of control. In that you can... the connection's gone bad again. This time it is my fault. Oh well. It allows you to transform at your own leisure, basically, but only like once every now and then. Hello, Tom, you still there?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm here.
Back again.
I think you stopped streaming.
Yeah, no, like it tried to reconnect and what, I don't know. It's recording, so it's fine. Anyway. So when an individual with some kind of lycanthropy is not transformed, they have well, let me see. There are some effects that they have. They are often plagued by nightmares. The wounds they received from the origin of their, because like. To become a werewolf, you need to be either it needs to be given to you by the original giver of the disease, which is Hercene, Daedric Prince Hercene.
Yeah,
or you need to be
bosses you, or you drink the blood of a werewolf.
Yes, either you are attacked by a werewolf and survive the encounter, which rarely happens, or you are given the blood. Yes.
Yep, which happens in Skyrim.
Yes.
Did you talk about the companions already?
Yeah, we talked about. Here's a nice reveal in that a lot of the companions of the circle, ever since the circle was established, the circle has always consisted of members that are all not vampires. They have all werewolves, and therefore the joining of the circle basically either required or came with the transformation of becoming a werewolf.
Yep. And in Skyrim you actually get invited into the circle.
Yes.
And you are given this blessing.
Or curse, depending on how you look at it.
Or curse. And Ayla slashes her wrist in the vampire in the werewolf form. A jello drops into the bowl.
Jello.
Yeah, it looks like jello.
So yeah, that's how you. I can actually that's how you become a werewolf.
You stop streaming again.
Yeah, no, I know. Just ignore it.
Okay.
That's how you become a werewolf. But to get rid of it, it's also interesting in that to cure the disease. Basically, what you need to do is you need to, either you need to find a standard cure potion before the first transformation, but after the transformation, you will need to face the inner beast that you now have, and that can be done in several ways.
Spirit.
Yes. The version that you see in Skyrim is a more literal version, but let me go through them in the proper order. Hold on. Oh God, where's that list?
Before
there
you
we go.
find it,
Yes.
Yep. I'll speak.
So one version is where you can, if you as a werewolf give your blood to someone who has the gene, a very strong genes for lycanthropy, you will basically pass on the the lycanthropy, and you will lose it yourself. You will lose the ability to transform yourself, and it will be passed on to the other person. That's one way, where you basically gift your inner beast to someone else. That is one way. Then you have the method of undergoing a ritual performed by the Glammoral witches, in which they sacrifice an innocent. They infect the victim's flesh with your curse, like your disease, and then they sacrifice. They resurrect that sacrifice. So that's, they kind of like forcefully put the inner beast into someone else. And finally, that's the version we see in Skyrim, where you literally take the head of one of these Glammoral witches and sacrifice it in a special fire, causing the inner beast to
Pop out.
get a physical appearance, which you can slay. And if after slaying that, that's how you get rid of your inner beast, and then you lose your lycanthropy.
Another note. Looks like that's
Yay.
got to go.
And the fun fact, when you die and you have lycanthropy,
Yes.
your soul goes to Hircine.
To the hunting
It
grounds
goes,
of Hercule.
yeah, to the eternal hunting grounds. But the companions are Nords. They want their souls to go to Sovngarde.
Yes.
So, but
that's why for generations the highest members of the companions, which all became werewolves, they kind of missed out on the opportunity to go to Sovngarde.
Yep.
But you kind of,
I mean, it depends on what you prefer.
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
said that Hircine's, if you actually like being a werewolf, Hircine's realm is a heaven.
Yes, it's an eternal hunting ground. So if you like to hunt, then voila.
Yeah,
Perfect.
if you like the hunt, it's a heaven. But if you, so I honestly, it's a win-win.
You want to go
Like-
to the eternal hunting ground?
No, if you're the type of guy who likes it,
Yeah, no, I
like,
know.
you would go to the eternal hunting ground, being hunting and sleeping and
No sleeping,
werewolf
just
stuff.
hunting.
just hunting, and then or you can go to Sovngarde with the eternal meat party and Nord ladies.
With songs, well, I don't think they actually mention anything of ladies. It's just songs of revelry, retelling stories, drinking. That's it.
Yep. And you're gonna go meet
Isgramor.
and there's gonna be soup, and he's gonna eat it with a fucking fork.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, what I haven't mentioned is the transformation. You see, what happens with the transformation is, regardless of how it's activated, you get longer limbs, more powerful, and you will get features from the various beastal forms, like the one that you're transforming. In the case of a werewolf, you get the head of a wolf, and you get a lot of fur, tail, and everything.
Claws.
Yes, claws. The in fact, the werewolf strain, some even have the thing where if they're not transformed, they still have more body hair than they would normally have, causing some people to say the famous quote of, "Is that fur coming out of your ears?"
Yeah. What happens if you're Khajiit?
Yeah. No, as a Khajiit, that shouldn't be a thing. Other than maybe you get like a bigger mane or something. But I don't know.
Maybe your teeth.
I don't think your teeth would get much bigger. It's not like vampirism. As a Khajiit, your teeth do get, like your the canines basically, they do get bigger. Also, Tom has just lost connection again, or technically I have. Anyway, yeah, but if you're for instance the let's see, the were crocodile. Maybe you get some scales. It's hard to say because we don't have a lot of sources.
We haven't seen
exactly.
any were crocodiles.
Um,
the only thing we saw is werebats.
Yes. Just
werebats are they're in Elder Scrolls Online.
I think they were also in the Daggerfall, but you know that's Daggerfall.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. Okay. Oh well.
They're in Online and in Legends.
Oh yeah, Legends. Yeah. Well, everything's in Legends.
Yep. Wereboars are in Daggerfall.
Ah yes, that's it.
Werebears are in Skyrim in the
And-
Dragonborn DLC.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And yeah, well, anyway, there's actually like there's kind of like when it comes to the werewolves specifically, there's actually subtypes as well. For instance, there's man beasts, which are not very well known, but in their normal state, they already look slightly bestial. They have like a bit of fur, like they have a little light brown fur, and they have orange eyes. But they are more intelligent and less primal than those than the standard beast form, and are even able to cast spells and use weapons. They're also more of a sneaky kind of like lurking in the shadows kind of thing. So like that's maybe like a lesser version of it. Then you have the opposite, which is like a werewolf lord, and that is such a powerful lycanthrope that they actually combine the two forms and turn into a humanoid form with bestial qualities, where you have basically a humanoid size, but then with a more wolf head. Though the exact details of how they look will depend on the original race of them. For instance, there was an Argonian who looked like an Argonian but had a lot of wolf-like features and fur, which is not that common among Argonians. And they are, of course, they can use magic and weapons and whatnot, but they also maintain this huge amount of power despite having the comparatively smaller body. And then finally we have the werewolf behemoths, which are even bigger than the original standard form. And ordinary werewolves can become behemoth through alchemical alterations. And that's also what Tom was talking about earlier. The potions that made these vampires more powerful had a different effect on those who were werewolves from the beginning, where they became these big hulks that are immensely powerful, but also way more bestial as well. Let's see, what next? Well, okay, so outside these under the rule of the companions or werewolf lord, werewolves tend to form packs because they have this wolf instinct that comes with it, and therefore they want to have that kind of hierarchy. Also, Tom disconnected again completely. And normally Hercene himself, the original grantor of the boon, chooses the pack master, and no, actually no, wait, hold on. There are pack masters on the hunting grounds themselves, and Hercene chooses those.
Hey.
Hello, back again.
You're cutting out for me like constantly.
Yeah, no, I know. It's my apparently the connection in my house today is very shit.
Yeah, my internet too. My internet jumps out every 20-15 minutes. Like.
Well, we're coming to an end of the werewolves thing, so we might have a shorter podcast today.
Yeah.
seems like the more reasonable. So you won't be able to see the full playthrough of us, but like this is getting a bit impractical. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to say about the werewolves. No, not really.
Do you still see my playthrough?
Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, we do.
So I'm gonna roll because there's nothing interesting and show you the fun part.
Wow, that's a lot of skips.
Yeah, look.
Wow, it fell apart.
Virus Donta is unconscious. He is indeed unconscious.
I think he's more than just unconscious.
Yep.
Hmm.
And it happens more times.
Shit.
He's constantly dying.
Well, yeah, he's an NPC. Let's go.
I
This is
really-
a whole new level of fast playthrough.
Yep. Wait, look at this. I need to scroll down. I have so many fucking magic.
Yeah, you really need to find a way to get rid of those. Also, stop carrying so many scrolls, for crying out loud. Just turn them all into spells.
Yeah, look at him.
They just collapsed.
It's so funny. Here it is again. Yeah, this one. Look at this shit. He spreads out so
Whoa.
much.
Oh, and then because of the explosion of your spell, it goes even further.
Yeah, but why do his body segments like separate when he goes unconscious?
I don't know. Old game, you know. It's a shame,
and-
like, because I also had like a fun little glitch in my playthrough. In you know how when Farkas turns into a werewolf for the first time.
Oh, did you do the half one?
No. What happened was that one of the like the Silver Hand members, like that's supposed to die to Farkas, they killed each other. Like you see like an animation of him backstabbing his own friend, and like wow.
Oh shit.
Uh,
Look at this on my playthrough. I just fast traveled and he's topless.
oh my, he's trying to seduce
He's
you.
so fucking buff.
Well, I think most of them are. All right.
You could literally grate cheese on his ass.
Wow. All right. So I think it's time to bring an end to this because this
Yep.
is a complete mess. Oh no.
Maybe.
Okay. So for next time, should we reveal what we're
We
gonna
have the
do?
Daggerfall.
Yes. Oh wow, you just ruined that. We are going to do.
Cut it out.
Yeah, no, it's too late now. We are going to, because it's the 10th episode, we're going to do a special where we play Daggerfall, Elder Scrolls Daggerfall, the second game, for the first time each. Neither of us have ever played it. We're going to install it because it's available for free, and we're gonna play it. And we're going to
try to run it on our PCs.
Yes. It might actually be
Try
an idea.
to.
You have a Twitch account as well, right?
Yep.
I will, like, on my stream I will do, like, you know, shared view, but it might actually be a good idea for you to stream as well, to make sure that if one of our connections goes bad, then, you know, there's still one of them still going.
Yep.
So, but we'll see that next week, and we'll actually have like a proper,
now
like,
connection
you
work.
know, something, a playthrough, and then we'll get to see if we know the games as well as we do. I mean, lore-wise, we probably know a lot about what's happening, but we haven't seen
Yeah,
the
but
gameplay. all
to
that
be
much.
honest, like gameplay wise,
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Oh well. So, thank you all for watching this mess of an episode, or listening to this mess of a podcast. My next stream will be on Monday. We'll be playing some Spellforce again, and the next Daedric podcast will be on.
is internet.
Yes, is next Saturday. Hopefully, the internet will be better then.
Hopefully,
Yes.
because this is actually like unbearable.
Yes, exactly. So, again, thank you all for listening, and bye bye from me.
Bye bye from me.
All right, bye.